Yo, 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 what is going on, COD Familia? It is your boy BN, aka Mr. Kingdom Builder, and today we're going to be looking at our January update for Roots of War, rankings, and leaderboards, at least to an extent. What I'm quickly realizing when I do this series is that, one, I'm not nearly getting as many reports as I think the hope would be to get. However, I always like doing these videos because, one, it spreads awareness to us hopefully getting more reports, and we'll show you how to do that for those of you that would like to provide us with reports. Remembering that this is a public sheet, and you can access this sheet by simply joining the Discord, which the link will be in the description, pinned comment down below. And then you can end up going to the Call of Dragons section, right? So you can click on the, I think it's the third to the left. So this one right here, 330. Well, you might not say that right now, but just remember third to the left. And then you can go down here to COD Data Stats. And then you can see Roots of War Leaderboards that we have a sheet for there. And I'll take you right to this. Now, when we look at the sheet, right, I typically always like to start with matches and then I go to leaderboards. And you can see here that I've been basically tracking data for matches since the very beginning, right? We have this all the way from week 1. And you could see, I mean, look at how many reports we were getting, right, in the first week. Even in the second week, the third week, right? The first 3 weeks, we got a lot. And then you could see kind of it's starting to taper off a little bit where we're just not getting as many reports as before. Now, bear in mind, people could submit me reports to me, and the easiest way to do that is you go up here to the reaction roll, you select COD Roots of War, which is the one that has the ROW icon in the middle or fourth from the left, and then it'll take you to the ROW section, and you can see where there's some information. There's like a Start Here channel that kind of gives you a little bit of table of contents. There's a chat, a place for people to post videos if they'd like, and then there's the row matches. And this is where people will post their matches. The important thing is that if you do want to post your matches here, it has to be something like this. It has to show the MMR, which is the matchmaking rating, and it has to show the OR, which is the overall ranking. And there's instructions on how you get that. You could always just click pin comments. It'll take you right to the very first one and tells you how to do that, right? Where you basically just have to go in-game. After the match has ended, you go into the ROW section, which is the one next to Dragon Trail, and you take a screenshot of that. And that's how you end up basically populating this image or finding it and then being able to post it here. I also am now saving all the match reports, and I'm just giving them a check off whenever I've gone through and I've added them over here to the sheet. But the other thing I like about being able to show you this type of data is that, one, you can see, and I may start adding another column. For example, I might add a column in the middle that just shows what the differential is. Like, again, what's the plus minus? Or what's the number difference on placement? So you can see here it's 44 through 52. Okay, well, that's an 8 place difference, right? Or an 8 MMR rating difference. You look at 104 to 117, that's 13. You look at number 2 through 26, I mean, then it starts getting, pretty wide. And so I'm thinking maybe I'll do like a number, an MMR, maybe like the actual MMR power differential between the alliances, and then a potential number differential, right? So let me give you an example, right? If I was to do one here, let's just do something like this, right? Let's close this in a little bit. I don't think the scores need to be that wide, but just so we could see everything, right? So let me give you an example. If I did something, I would say like, let's do this, right? We'll go like this, right? So we'll do power diff, and then we'll do, and then let's do this, right? And then we'll do a rating diff, right? So it's power differential, rating differential. So if I do a power differential, right? I probably am going to have to do this by hand, but just to give you an example. So we'll do 24230497771 minus 2242927 and then this is the, right, so that's the differential between the two. If we do ratings, again, right, 52 minus 44, that's 8, right? So basically, the lower the number in both of these categories is really where, like, the W, that's what you're looking for. You're looking for the lowest differential between these alliances is possible. And obviously, you may have to factor that if it's like a billion power alliance. Like, for example, if it's 3 billion plus power alliances and the power differential is 180 million, that's obviously not as impactful as if the alliances are around a billion power, right? Whether that's a little under or around that number where 180 million is a little bit more impactful. But maybe something like this I'll start adding on. And again, if you guys have any other ideas, again, I'd love to hear. I think this is something that I've always loved doing when it comes to this, but obviously the important part is trying to get a lot more people interested in posting match reports because there is not some type of global ranking system. And bear in mind, my leaderboard that I have isn't fully done either, right? So as an example, I can do a win-loss here where we show you the alliances that are undefeated. But the challenge that I also find with this is that the alliances do not post all of their matches, right? So, some of these may be accurate, but then some of them probably are because I don't get all the matches. Like HRT has been up for a while, HAL's been up for a while, VV's been up for a while. Like I have to imagine that they've done more than 4 matches, and the others as well. Right, but I like putting like, hey, where's the home kingdom? So again, if you're looking at this sheet and you go on the leaderboards and your alliance is still active, let me know what home kingdom you're from so I can add that in. In addition to that, right, I also have something like average points per match. We have total points, right? So like if I did this, you could see these are the alliances that have accumulated the most points thus far. If we go by wins, you could see, okay, well, these are the alliances that have the most wins. Again, keep in mind that even I recognize and have my own realistic expectations that the data is not full, right? Because I'm not getting match reports from every single alliance every single 2 weeks when it's going off. So for me, the way I look at it right now is like, okay, this is nice to kind of show off in a very soft-ish gauge. But I think what's probably more important to look at, to me, is the matchups to look at. And again, I just thought of doing this now with the power and rating differential. So I think I'm going to start working on that and adding those in. It might take me a while to go all the way back from how it was before, and then maybe we can look at like averages every 2 weeks. I'm like, okay, well, what was the average power differential, and then what was the average rating differential week to week? That could be cool now that I'm thinking about it. But again, those are some new things I'll start working on. And then one of the other things that I was a really big fan of is adding in the alliance time slots, right? So you can see here, I have time slots. However, my view is that I probably just shouldn't do this based on weeks. I should just probably do this as like a standard. And this is the reason I've always advocated for having time slots is because I've believed that it is important for you to know what alliances based on their MMR and their OR are going into which slots for which day. Because if you're an alliance and you're looking, bear in mind, it's pretty clear at this point in time with ROW that alliances want more favorable matchups. That's just a given. I don't know anyone, like if anything, I only see complaints, and this is, again, if you pay attention to what's being said, you're only seeing complaints for alliances that have very wide matchup margins versus those that get close matchups. I don't see complaints when I see number 2 and number 3 going against each other. I only see complaints when I see like number 4 versus number 26, right? That's where you start really getting, that's where you start getting more of that kind of like negative or constructive feedback on, hey, we'd like to have more favorable matchups. But the only way to know, or the only way to do this from an outside source, outside of the game, is for alliances to, for example, do something like this, whether it's, again, because there's nothing in the game right now, and it'd be nice if they added something like that in the game, and maybe we'll get into that in a separate video, but the only way to do it right now is where alliance is coordinated somewhere as a hub or somewhere universally, where they come and they say, hey, look, this is the day and time that we're always going to operate. And then this is what our current power is, and this is what our, or for whatever it may be, like here's our registered power. Or you can just go off like what the last placement was. But something like that I think would be incredibly beneficial, because then alliances could theoretically come on here and say, oh, well, I want to go and fight against, and this is outdated, but as an example, I want to go and fight against A and C. Our MMR power rating coming in is going to be about 1.25 billion. So this is actually a really good matchup. They're going at this time slot. This is actually one of the other time slots we can do outside of our main. Let's switch to this so that way we can have a higher percentage chance of getting a more favorable matchup. Even though it may not always guarantee you the most favorable matchup, it will increase the percentage odds of you getting a more favorable matchup if you choose time slots where you have similar registered power, or your MMR, that's going into the same day and time slot that another alliance is, right, of similar balance as well. So yeah, I mean, again, that's pretty much what I got for you today on this one. Like I said, I'd love to hear what you guys think. Is there other ways that you would find interest in me still covering ROW when it comes to kind of the leaderboards and the data sets right now, outside of obviously whenever I finally find time to go in and record a match or shoutcast a match, for example? Let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. That's going to do it for me. As always, until next time, I'll catch you later.